everybody, Tom from PC Gamer here with Sven from Larian Studios. Going to show off the Game Master mode in Divinity Original Sin 2. We're going to dive in and actually create a campaign for you and kind of give you a deep look at that. Sven, you got a little treat in store. What campaign are we creating today?
Well, we're going to try to recreate the original Divine Divinity, actually. So we're going to make a new campaign, and we're going to recreate the scenes that you had in the little village of Alaroth, which is where that game started. So let's call it the best RPG of 2002. All right, and let's get started. So I went on the internet and I found an old map of Divine Divinity, an overview map. So I'm going to use that to set the scene. And so in the Game Master mode, you can create overview maps. So there's a bunch of overview maps that come with it. But you can also browse for overview maps that you have already. So this is an Ultima 7 map, which is one of my favorite games. And this is the old Divinity map. It's a little bit low res. And Alaroth was over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a location here. And then I'm going to associate a level with that. So I'm going to call it, what's his name again? Yoram's house. All right. Okay, so players are going to be beginning in Yoram's house, and I need to find a 3D level that goes with that. So the game comes with 150 of these, or about 150 of these prefab levels, but you can create your own levels in the level editor. That also goes with the game. But the idea is, sorry, go ahead.
Well, yeah, so I was going to say, so that's a really cool part of this, is that there are a lot of available things if you want to just pull, and you can pull from the workshop too, but people, if they want to get into it, can jump into a level editor that's separate and really make detailed maps if they wanted.
Yes, indeed. So we did a bunch of the work already for people so they can start playing right away. The game will come with a number of prepared campaigns also, so that they don't have to think too much about it, but they can pretty much make whatever they want. So let's have a look at what that scene looks like. So it's a cozy home. It's very similar to what actually the original campaign or the original Divinity had. So, but you did start in a cellar, so I want to make a cellar also. So let me find a cellar. Now, as it turns out, I have an attic here, which works well as a cellar. So I'm going to call that one my cellar. Let's have a look. Okay, so that'll work. And so I'm going to set a starting location here. So players are going to begin over here. Now, in the beginning of the game, they need to find some things like, let's say, potions. So let me create some potions here. I'm going to give them one healing elixir, which is going to save their lives when they start playing. And actually, you know what? I'm going to, there's a chest here, so I'm going to place one there. I'm going to give them a little piece of equipment. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, a dagger that was in there. So let's make a very simple dagger in there. There's actually also a pen which you could use. So that's going to be it, and I need a way out of here. So I'm going to create a ladder. I hope there's ladders in there, and if not, there's no ladders, then I'm going to create something that's going to work as a ladder. So let's have a look. What else do we have? A rope. All right. They have to throw the rope upstairs to the hatch, and as a dungeon master, I will tell them, well, you know what? You look upstairs and you see a hatch, so they throw the ladder, the rope upstairs. I would have probably found a ladder in there if I would have looked very hard. Okay, so that's my first two scenes, and then actually I'm going to do one last scene, and I'm going to say outside Yoram's house. Right, and that is going to be small wooden shack. So let's see if I can find a shack that goes with it. So just for reference of your viewers, Tom, we're doing this on the fly. There's no preparation. So I'm being put on the spot here and trying to get my stuff sorted out. Okay, so where do we have is there a shack? There's supposed to be a wooden shack in here in this little map. So let me find...
yeah, there it is.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. It's a little worse for wear, but it's a shack.
All right, well, we'll have to work with that. Okay, so then I can create vignettes. So like, if you think of it, it's like PowerPoints. I can change the image here, so I'm going to make it something that is our starting location. So I'll take something, we'll take this. as an image. So you can also import your images here. So if you browse for images, you can basically go on the internet, find them. You can create them yourself. And it comes with a bunch of fantasy imagery that you can put in there. And I will set the scene for the players. You wake up in a cellar. Someone clearly has been taking care of you. Your head hurts. All right. So this is going to be the first vignette, and actually I'm going to add another vignette here. This vignette is actually going to tell you what happened before, because in the original Divine Divinity, what you had was, if I do this, and in a little forest here, you were hit by lightning in the forest. You were happily wandering around in the forest, and then suddenly you were, what was it, chased by orcs? The orcs, I'm doing this a little bit fast for the sake of the video, the orcs were hit by lightning, and you fell unconscious. No, everybody's going to see I can't write unconscious. Alright, so...
This is the abbreviated version of the story.
So I got my two vignettes here. I'm going to put this one on top here. And so this is going to be the first thing that players are going to see. Then they're going to see this thing. I might set the scene actually where they are to start. I'm not going to call this Yoram's house anymore. I'm going to call it Alaroth. So this is going to be Alaroth. There you go. And then the only thing I want to prepare, and then we can actually run the campaign, because then I can start doing the story, is in the cozy home. I'm going to put my character, which is going to be Yoram. And so I'm going to create him as a character. So let's call him, he's going to be a civilian, and he's going to be a poor malhuman. So I'm just going to put him here. I'm going to manage him. I'm going to give him a name. So that's going to be Yoram. And we're going to, well, should you decide to pickpocket him, what are we going to give him? Well, he's going to be, he's a guy with a book, right? So I'm going to put that's his inventory, so I can basically create items in his inventory as I want. And he was a healer, so I'm going to take my Game Master skill book, and I'm going to give him a bunch of skills. Now he's going to have Hail Strike, so he can protect himself, and I'm going to give him a healing ritual to heal you. And so what I'm going to do is, when you're going to start up, I'm going to make you appear. It was approximately here actually that you started, so I'll put you there. So I expect you to come up here, see this guy, talk to him, what the hell happened to me. He'll tell you the scene. Then you'll go outside, and then outside we will see what happens. Now, and this one, for the sake of our presentation, what we're going to do is that or shack, when you get out of there, there are going to be a bunch of bad guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, you know what, we're going to take a troll. All right, so we're going to take a forest troll that is arriving here. That's not according to the original script. But just mentioning it. Should you want to try Divine Divinity?
This is the Redux.
Yeah. So, and our forest troll is going to have a fossil strike attack and an impalement attack. So he's going to really hurt you badly. All right. So,
so out of curiosity, how granular can you get with like changing enemies that way? Is it just abilities and stats and items and that sort of thing, or could you even jump into like what they look like and? Yeah.
So in the Game Master mode as it stands, what you can do is you can modify every single of their stats. So you can go over there. So you can change their abilities. You can give them talents also, and then you can modify their inventory. Now this is a model that doesn't have the animations for a. So let me go to the other one, and I'll demonstrate to that. It depends on what animations are available for a model. So if, for instance, we go to the cellar where we put our friend. No, sorry, not the cellar. Excuse me. Yoram's house, where we put our guy. So if I'm going to manage him, and if I'm now going to go to my, this is to generate items, so let me go to my item panel, and if I'm going to give him different equipment, then he's going to actually change in function of the equipment that he has. So, so for instance, if I say he's not going to be a real big healer if I'm going to give an axe, but I'm going to give an axe, give him an axe, and so you can see he has the axe now actually is equipped to him. And if I'm going to give him equipment, so for instance, say that I'm going to give some scale armor to him. Sorry, I have to put it in the armor slot. Let me do that again. So I'm going to put it on him. So, well, I expected his visual to change. So some bug, it's not changing. So it really depends on which character model you're using. But so for some it will change, for some it won't change. So it's really depending on what's available with it. We allow you to do anything. But sometimes you're not going to get the visualization for that because nobody ever made the model because the main game doesn't need it. So what we're shipping is Game Master mode with all the assets of the main campaign. And so that's what you have to work with. All right. So what else did I want to do? I'm actually ready, I think. I want to just make my troll. Okay. I wanted to make a vignette for my troll. That's the last vignette. You see a big bad troll and he wants to kill you. All right. What do? You do. And so now I can add questions if you want. So this is kind of multiple choice questions that the party will be able to select. But you can also add questions on the fly. So I can say like, grab your weapon, your weapons, or I could say, let's pretend you're dead. And like this, I'll let the party come up with all different IDs. And so we're ready. So what I can do is now save my campaign. And we can start playing, and then you can see what a session would look like. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the main menu. And so I go to Game Master mode, play campaign. I have Edouard who's sitting there next to me, so he's going to be joining. So I'm going to create a campaign. So the game will come actually with campaigns that are ready. Like for instance, here, this is a demonstration campaign that we've been doing, which is Lost Mines of Phandelver, which is Dungeons & Dragons Starter Set Edition. So they let us use it for the demonstration purposes. So you actually see Sword Coast, Neverwinter. I'll show it maybe at the very end after we did our own campaign here. So what did I call it? Divinity. Okay, so that's my campaign, and I'm going to launch. Okay. And then Edouard should have joined in the meantime. Okay, so this is my Dungeon Master character. So I'm going to create him.
And right now he's creating his own character
Yeah.
and getting ready to go into the game himself.
Exactly. Okay.
And on top of those vignettes that you were creating, a large part of it is just the aspect of pen and paper games, right? Where you'd be filling in the details and responding to him, the players.
So it's a game master mode that uses the assets of the game and the rule system to take care of all the small particulars, so you don't have to worry about the rule set, and that focuses on storytelling. So the game master uses the tools that we give him to tell his story, and you've participated in the session. So it plays very much like a pen and paper game, but it goes faster because you have everything that makes it visuals, and that's pretty much what we wanted to do. So I hit the publish button. So what Edouard is now seeing is actually this screen. So now I see what he is seeing. So I'm telling him now, you are in Alaroth. And I jump to my vignette. I take my first vignette, which was my introduction shot, and I tell him the story about what happened to him, how he was hit by lightning, how the orcs were chasing him, and so then a small white cat appeared next to him. That's the last thing he remembers. And then I take him to the next vignette where I tell him that you wake up in a cellar, someone clearly has been taking care of you, and your head hurts. And that's the right moment to go to the cellar that I created. And so now I take him to the cellar, and so now he's in the 3D environment, and I will see him walk around. So this is Edouard, and I can actually manage him, so I can have a look at everything he has on him. So these are his skills, his inventory, and while he's fooling around, I can do things to him, right? So I can say, you know what, you also had an apple on you, so now he has an apple with him. And at any moment, I can pause the game. So at this moment, Edouard can't move anymore, and I would be talking as a game master. And then what I can do is I can start doing things to him. So actually, in this particular scene, before he started up, I would have probably put him asleep. So I would have paused it instantly, and I would have said, okay, since you were taken care of by this healer, you were sleeping. So Edouard is now, if I'm going to unpause it, you're going to see he's in the sleep mode. And so he can't do anything right now. So I can talk to him, he's sleeping, and then eventually I can say, well, you wake up, and then probably I would have shown my vignette. So let me just make Edouard awake. And so now he can walk around, and he's going to explore the place, and so he's going to try to figure out a way. It gives me some time to look for that ladder that I didn't find, which is there's going to be a search function here, but that's not ready yet. So imagine that Edouard eventually tells me, like, I found the ladder, I climbed the ladder after he explored all the chests and stuff, and I said, I would say, okay, that's fine. Let's go to my scene list, and I take you to my next scene. And then Edouard would enter the room where he would meet Yoram. And so Yoram was a character, and I can say, hey, so I'm now possessing Yoram, so I'm actually acting like him, and I say, hey man, you look great, let me have a look at you. And maybe I would say, you know what, I'm going to just quickly give you another healing spell. I'm going to tell him that everything that he sees is mine, which is what Yoram did in the original game. He's going to ask me questions. I'm going to say, you're in Alroth, I found you on the floor. And so maybe he's going to try to convince me of doing something, and then I would probably use this thing, which is my dice roller. And then I can make him do a roll 20, which is what a game master does in general. Whenever he needs to make a decision, he's going to say a roll. So I'm going to say, you know what, Edouard just asked me if I'm going to give him all of my gold. So I'm going to make him roll for strength to see if I'm intimidated by that. So I'm going to let him roll. So he's going to roll on his screen. It's a 12 for the sake of argument. I'm going to say, yes, Edouard, you managed to actually scare Yoram. And then I would tell him, okay, I need 1 second as I'm preparing myself for this. And then I would say, not an encounter. I would, for instance, give him everything I had on me, and that would be, where are they, the consumables, and that would have been a carrot. And because Yoram was hungry, and maybe some herbs. That's, let's say, Whisperwood, which is a herb with which you can make healing potions. Probably would have gotten a healing potion from me also. And I could have given our friend Edouard also some gold. No, sorry, I'm doing target health here. So where is that? Something is my one button that is not. Yeah, sorry, I'm giving him a reward. I was a little bit confused there, so I'm going to give him a little bit of gold. Well, not that much. Let me just give him like five gold pieces. Yeah, I'm going to be stingy. Giving
so stingy with the infinite gold there.
Yeah, well, you don't want to give him too much, but. In my head, I'm going to say, well, Yoram was actually working on a new type of potion. He wasn't very good, so this is going to be actually a poisonous potion. So whenever he's going to drink this, he's going to regret what he did, and he's going to pay for his bad karma in sending me out of there. So then eventually Edouard would leave the house, and so that would probably be a good moment to go back to my overview map. Tell him, okay, you're in Alroth, you're going outside, and then you go outside of the house. And then I tell him, as you go outside of a house, there's a troll. And now I could have adapted my story, the AI took over because I was talking to you. So I can possess the troll now. And so now I'm running the fight against Edouard. So since the AI already had this move, I'm going to end my turn. But I think it's already over for Edouard because he's been crippled and slowed. So I'm going to, let's even the odds for Edouard. Let me just select him. I'm going to clear those status effects for him. So you see, I have full control over everything that's happening with him. And I'm going to, since he was, I didn't want that to happen. So I'm going to set up his target health, make him a little bit high, so he's being healed now.
And you can get rid of the surface as well.
Yeah, so I can paint surfaces. So I can. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me increase my. Put my erase button. So there you go. So that surface is gone also. So it's been cleared up now for him, and I could make it more interesting for the fight. Actually, I don't know if he has any electricity attack, but if he has any electricity attack, he could now electrify the water surface so that I would be standing in it.
And so this is in the middle of the campaign where you could have prepared some of this stuff like the water beforehand when we were prepping it, but also if you just decide on the fly, you can just paint like that. You can change status effects like that.
Yes, everything that you pretty much manage everything, right? So Edouard encouraged himself. I think he doesn't have a lot of interesting skills on him, so I could actually decide that, you know what, he should have started out with something more than that. So he should have had a fireball. So I'm gonna drag the fireball and give him a fireball attack. So if he's now going to check his skill status, he's going to actually have the fireball with it. So I'm going to possess my my troll, and my troll is going to. Well, actually, what I wanted to do before we got into a fight was I wanted him to see my vignette And I should have changed that image on that. So Edouard is now paused while I'm setting it up. So I'm putting my forest image, I'm publishing my vignette, and so he can now select what he's going to do, grab my weapons, pretend he's dead, or come up with something else indeed. And so he says he's going to pretend he's dead. So I'm going to go back to my game field. And so what I would do on him then, I would first I would put a status effect on him, which is, I can make him unconscious, I guess. Knocked down, that is. There we go. I'm going to make that permanent. That's the -1 trick. So he is pretending he's dead. Now I'm going to roll a roll 20 for that. So because my actually, I think then I'm going to make that a wits roll. All right. So let's see if it works. I will say it works, and so what I would do then is I would take my troll, and says my troll falls for it, and I'm going to change the alignment of the troll so that he's not going to get into combat mode anymore. So this is my encounter panel, so I can actually make this an encounter. So I could have added extra characters to it. I can rapidly change their alignment. I can change his level of the troll, so I could make it a level 5 troll, which is scary for Edouard. So now he's neutral. The troll fell for it, and so I'm going to pretend that the troll dashes off, and then now the troll is just plain angry, and then I'll just delete the troll, so he's gone from the scene, and so Edouard can continue exploring. And so I ask him then, for instance, so what do? Do you get out of the village? Do you stay in the village? And then we can just keep on creating scenes as we continue. So if he says I get out of the village, I would have said, okay, forest outside 1. And so the game remembers everything that I've done in my previous scene. So if we go back there, we would see those things again. So if I go to the forest, so I'll take, let's just take we'll go to that particular forest. So I would have sent Edouard now to the forest. He would explore the forest. I could say, well, you find, to make things interesting, I could say there is a dead corpse here. And so then he would be, I need to find a dead corpse in there. So that search function is going to be a really handy one when it's going to be in there. I know we have dead corpses, but I don't remember where they are. So I need to find them. If anybody here knows where my dead corpses are, I would be really... it's equipment, mechanisms, containers.
I mean, this is a good example also of the amount of items you guys... you have available to players and to the game masters to kind of run around in.
Yeah, so there's really, I mean, once you get used to it, so there's a little bit of blood over here. So, and then I'm going to just unleash Edouard. So he's going to go dash off now, and he's going to, but he's still down. So let me go back to him, apply start to target. I'm going to remove his knockdown status. So now, because that's still from when he pretended that he was dead.
Right.
Now he can continue walking into it, and he finds the blood. He can ask me questions about the blood, and then we can continue our adventure. And like this, I can pretty much control every aspect of it. And when you do that with a bunch of players, then you have something that's very similar to a pen and paper play session. Maybe in closing, I can show you what a campaign, when it's been prepared fully, looks like, because I was just now making it on the fly to demonstrate it.
And that's part of the point of this, is it does seem to incorporate a lot of the both the preparedness and the spontaneity of pen and paper games. You can really map out a whole campaign if you want, but there's always going to be that thing that a player asks that you weren't expecting, and it's interesting, or it's cool that you can just make a brand new scene immediately if you need to.
You have to, and because your players typically improvise. And,
exactly. Yeah.
And if you can't adapt to the improvisation, then actually it doesn't work anymore. So we've had the craziest things running these campaigns. There's a lot of fun too. So let me just start my campaign here. So this is going to be the Lost Mines of Phandelver 5th edition starter set campaign. So here we took the map from Neverwinter. So Baldur's Gate is somewhere over here. We have Neverwinter, and it starts in there, and it's a story about a group of adventurers that are doing an escort, and then things go wrong when they get here. And so I have a whole bunch of scenes that are prepared, and each of these scenes, like for instance, if I go, let's say there's in the beginning of the adventure, because I don't want to ruin it for people, there's an ambush of goblins, right? And so the goblins are so there's a dead horse here. There's something special about the dead horse. And then if they would be ambushed by those goblins, then I would actually I would pause it and then I would set up those goblins over here. But I first would have told them this through one of these vignettes. And here you see that we actually imported the artwork from the 5th edition starter set campaign, and we described it, what happens here. So this is the ambush, and then players can select. And like this, when you look through the vignettes, we have a whole story that's there, which is pretty much exactly what you get when you buy a campaign from Dungeons and Dragons. That's what you get, right? So situations like this that the game master chains, and then sometimes the players say, well, you know what, we're not, because in this particular case you need to go to Phandalin, so they might say, you know what, we're going north. And then he can, he says, okay, well, I'm going to put a place called Baldur's Gate here. And you're traveling there, but I mean, any good GM would not allow them to get away with that. So probably what you could say here is you happen to run into a troll ambush, and then off you go. And so it continues. And so that's our Game Master tool.
Well, that's very cool. I'm really interested to see kind of what some people come up with in the workshop and what people get into it. But thank you very much for showing it off and for revisiting the past in Divine Divinity.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tom.
With a few more trolls. And stay tuned at PCGamer.com for more about Divinity Original Sin 2 and its Game Master mode.